Hello, Somerville. My name is Ed Halloran. Welcome to the Somerville Labor Show. We are back again in beautiful Union Square, as you can see. And actually, this is a moment where you may be witnessing the very last Somerville Labor Show that we'll be doing right here in Union Square. We have been asked to move on. The building is, there's some things going to be going on with this building. Unfortunately, and this has been going on, I think this has been since 1984 when they first came here. So it's kind of like a moment where, it's a little sad to be leaving this building at some point in time, but things happen, and we are going to move on, and we're going to carry on with the Somerville Labor Show, whether it be outside in the street talking to people or in a new studio, which we hope that'll be coming at some time down the road. But I want to thank so many people that are here. I have to thank Jude Sylvain, who was our first technical switcher, and Greg Hill, who is our assistant director, Yvette Wilkes. I've got Brian Zipp here today helping us out, doing some switching and all of that. So it's been great having our shows. We've been doing this for about 5 years. And also we will stay with the YouTube thing. Watch us on YouTube. And SMC has been great to me. I had no idea what I was doing when I came here. I'm a little better, but really enjoying it right now. It's really a lot of fun. We also had the pleasure of bringing you real people with real labor issues, and the treatment of workers in the workplace has been something that's really touches me because of my involvement in unions all of these many years, and I'm still doing it. The good news is that we are going to continue on, like I said, whether it be on the road or whether it be at a new location. And this is going to lead me into something that we've been talking about for years anyway, and the subject is it's a constant in Somerville. Sooner or later, displacement and gentrification, as they call it, will seek out and displace many of us from a place where we may love. Businesses have thrived in this city for years, and unfortunately with COVID, a lot of things have happened with COVID, and then a rebound. Hopefully, we were hoping that people would rebound and come back to that. But it's just what it is. It happens, and that's just the way things have going on lately, especially with all of the development. As you can see outside here, it looks a little bit better. It's a beautiful view back there. Recently, there was an article in Cambridge Day. So if you don't know what Cambridge Day is, it's a website, and I got to be honest with you, I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying that. There's so many things there about Cambridge and Somerville, and I think they're doing a great job over there. And they happen to do an article on the record store named Grooves, and I've got Dave Plunkett sitting right here next to me, who is the proprietor of Grooves, and he's been selling records in Union Square, I think, since 2011. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a long time now. And the doors closed officially when?
On the 20th.
On the 20th, right. And I happened to walk in the store because I heard you were closing, and I brought Greg Hill along with me. And Greg came in, and we just came in to say hello. We didn't want to invade anything, It was kind of cool. It's a nice, cool shop, and we've got some video on that you can take a look at, and you can do that right now. Hello, Somerville. My name is Ed Halloran, and welcome to the Labor Show. This is a little unusual for us. Here we are. We're out on the street, as you can tell, right in beautiful Union Square. And just over my shoulder, you can see a record store named Somerville Grooves, or Grooves as they put it. It's a record store, and very unusual. I mean, records are huge right now. And the proprietor, Dave Plunkett, is in there, and we want to go in and have a conversation with him. And the big concern is that, as you know, there's a lot of construction ongoing in the city right now. We have concerns about business owners, small business owners leaving, and that is a big concern to us. We hate to lose really good business in the square. And my understanding is that Dave may be leaving, and we want to go in the store and say hello. And I've got Greg Hill with me, and what's better than that, right? So let's go in, let's have a conversation, and we'll talk to Dave a little bit and take a look at what he's got for records, because I am a record guy, and I enjoy music just like Greg does, and we're way back, right, Greg? We're way back, man. Okay, let's go in. Joe Cocker, 1969, August 15th, 16th, and 17th, Woodstock. Tremendous performance. Greg, what do you know about the Ramones?
Well,
Anything?
there was Joey.
There was Joey, and he wants to be sedated. It's true. It's a song.
Let's go in.
All right. What's this tape for? Oh, tape. Hi, Dave. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
See.
Ed Halloran. I'm here with Dave Plunkett. He's the owner of Grooves Record Store here, located in Somerville. I just want to come and say hello for a few minutes. We're on the road. We're doing just a couple of quick things here, just to say hi. And we've been here since
2011, 12 years.
Okay, and the store is closing.
Closing, yep, this tomorrow. So,
Tomorrow.
well, it'll be closed by the time anybody sees this.
So that's up. Let's see what's today. Today's the 19th. Tomorrow's the
Closing
20th.
the 20th.
All right. So you've been here quite a while, and any reason for the closing? Is it because of what's going on in the square? Is
Well,
it-
you know, there's a little bit of that. Like, you know, with the parking, with a lot of the lost parking, it's been tougher for people to bring record collections here and stuff.
Yeah.
But the real reason, I live in Melrose now, as of
easier.
4 years ago, and you know, I was kind of looking for a spot up there, and finally found a good one. So it's time.
Well, you know what? I love records, and there's
Great,
nothing
thanks.
for me. There's nothing like a needle on a record. The sound of
A
it.
lot of people are. That's how a lot of
Right?
people feel these days.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
exactly.
record stores are big.
What got you into the whole thing about with the whole record thing and deciding to sell records?
Well, you know, a lot of people my age always had records since they were a kid and just always liked them.
Mhm.
And when I was in my 20s, I used to work in one of the record stores. Was around back then, and I enjoyed it. And then I had professional jobs for a couple of decades. And when I got laid off at one point, I thought maybe I could get a record store going, and did. So.
And you did,
Yeah.
and you're successful at it.
Oh well, it's doing all right.
Yeah, you know, I think I came in here, and I think I sold a bunch of records.
Oh, thank you.
Can I buy them back?
A little more expensive now, especially 10 years ago. Some of them,
I know,
some of them
I
go
know,
way up.
man, I know. They were-
I'm sure I paid you fair at the time.
You did. You were great. The only problem was is that, you know, like those records, man. I mean,
Yeah, replace them now.
oh God, they're hard to duplicate. And such
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, what are some of your favorites?
Oh boy, I don't know, like Talking Heads, Hawkwinds, Recons,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
John Coltrane.
Yeah. So Coltrane. Wow. Yeah. I mean, so basically, blues.
Yep.
Any kind of like jazz. That's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like classic jazz.
Oh yeah, those are huge these days.
Right.
Those are hard to keep in
Dave
stock.
Brubeck, Take
Yeah.
5, what we're listening to right now.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Yep, some people buy this soon enough.
Yeah, labels mean a lot,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Oh yeah.
When it comes to expensive.
It's true. The original 2i label of this one goes for more. It's true.
I have an album introducing the Beatles on a VJ label.
Yep.
Which I think is probably, you didn't get that one. You
Well, I don't know.
I didn't say that one, but I
You know, most copies of that you see are not that special.
Oh really?
And then
Oh good, I feel better then.
I think most of the copies you see of that are counterfeits.
Okay.
Pressed by some dodgy company in the 60s.
Yeah.
And then the real ones actually are money.
Right.
But everybody says, oh look, I've got introducing the Beatles.
Oh, yeah, well, you know, we all think we have something special.
Right. Oh yeah, you see that? Well, yeah, you see that every day here.
Right, and people don't want to let these records go, right? I mean,
Oh.
it's getting harder and harder to buy.
Well, yeah, it's true. I mean, people who know what they have, like you know, you have to pay more for the good records now because people know the value.
Mhm.
And it's true. Like 10 years ago, maybe more people were dumping their records, and these days more people are looking for them. So it is
Yeah,
true.
well, I think I'm gonna be looking for them myself again because, you know, I love music, I love records, always have. I just think, my opinion, is just my opinion. I think the sound of records is better than the visual sound of the
Yeah, there's
record
something
now,
about it that people
the
like
CD.
for sure. That's why
Yeah.
they become so popular.
Yeah, the crackling. You know, you can't.
Even that, you know, you hear that and it kind
You
of
can't beat it, man.
it somehow gets your ear going. But then the record stops and the crackling's usually over. You don't want to really crack your record.
No, I got a lot of those. The vinyl's what it's all about, but I want to thank you for letting us come in, look around. I'm glad that people are in here and they're still doing what I like to do, what I've been doing for years. I used to go to Stereo Jacks and cheapo records years ago. This is Dave Brubeck, all right, Take 5, Blue Rondo, great. Blue Rondo a la
That's the
Turk.
song, yep, that's the
Ah,
song. Yep.
yeah, tremendous album. Anyway, I want to thank Dave. And
thank you.
Thank you for
Thanks
having us
for
in.
coming in.
I appreciate that.
Oh, thanks for putting this on.
All right, man. Good
Thank
luck in your new journey. in Melbourne.
Thanks.
I think it's everybody's loss.
Oh, well, thank you. Melrose is good.
Yeah. Well, there again, you better believe it. All right, we're good.
Thanks.
I'll see you Wednesday.
Oh, still
All
doing
right.
it? Still
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
Wednesday?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Thanks. All right.
Yeah. Can you bring some records? Bring a few.
I'll try. You know,
Very kind.
I'll try to remember to leave a few behind.
Yeah.
Because Tuesday's moving day.
Oh, yeah,
The
that's right.
moving truck's here Tuesday.
Well, if you don't, maybe I can. You know.
But yeah, I'll probably be something left behind.
There's a couple that you really like. You know.
All right.
Well, and one thing in the article that I looked at, right? It was DeLillo, I think, the guy who interviewed you on that. If I can find it. And so this was Hawkwind's 1973 Space Ritual.
Yep.
That is, what is that? That's an album.
Yep.
Okay.
Space Ritual.
Why have I not heard that one?
I don't know.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, check. You can hear it online, I'm sure. If you find the file, it'll cost you money. But
Okay. Thanks, Dick.
no, thank
See
you.
you soon, man.
All right, thanks.
All right,
Yeah,
appreciate everything.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, Greg. See you later. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that brief little video. It's a great shop. So I got to ask the question: what prompted you to move? What was the motivating factor to move on?
Well, there were a lot of things, but the real number one issue is that a few years ago, the rental that I lived in Somerville got sold, and I ended up living in Melrose. And so for the last 4 years, I've kind of been watching an opportunity to move the record store closer to where I live. I always liked living near the shop in Somerville.
Right.
And so now I live in Melrose, and finally the shop is moving to Melrose down the street from me.
So what we basically said was that's our loss, right?
Well, thanks.
It is, and because I've been there and I've done business with you before, and I guess the other thing too is I know that the quote that I seen in Cambridge Day was, you know what, the city's growing, it's doing different things right now. I get it, I get the whole vibe, and it is cool. I agree with you, but the bike lanes, not that we don't like them, we're cool with it. It's just that parking may be a little more difficult for people to come in who might want to come in and drop off some records.
Well, that did affect Union Square. I mean, I opened in a very busy corner. It was always a little sketchy for people to double park there and drop off records. I was always kind of pushing it anyway.
Yeah.
And then just before the pandemic, there was 2 years of big construction outside where they added, the dividers and things like that. And so that made it really hard. And then as soon as that was over, we got the pandemic. So it got a little tricky in Union Square.
That's a question I got to ask you. I'm going to jump ahead anyway. I'm going to ask you about the pandemic, right? So you're there in 2011. You're doing pretty well, right? I mean, you're doing what you're doing over there. And then all of a sudden COVID came along. Do you have to close the shop down for a period of time?
Well, yeah, everything in Massachusetts was closed for about a 4-month period. It was not legal to be open.
Right.
And Somerville was great. They had programs for small businesses, and eventually I got a grant that covered my rent when I closed time, and a little more other expenses too. So the pandemic, the pandemic was terrible for a lot of reasons, but it the store survived that all right.
Right. Well, you know what? I mean, it was tough on everybody. We're getting a little bit of a rebound right now, so I'm excited about that. So when you talked about how busy it was, so if somebody wanted to drop off records, it's going to be really difficult for them. And I'm glad that you're going to make a move and you're going to go. Where are you going out to?
We're in Melrose. Yeah, we're opening a new shop. Green Street Grooves in Melrose. For those who know Melrose, it's on Green Street.
Yep.
Near where the Whole Foods is. But anyway, just off Main Street in Melrose.
So how has sales been as far as have they stayed steady?
Oh yeah, we've done great. Records are getting more and more popular.
You're going to talk about
it. After COVID, it seemed like there was even a bigger spike in sales. It got to where we could sell everything we could get, and it's actually getting inventory was more of a challenge than selling it.
So really, it's like the hobby shop. It's like baseball cards, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, people hold on to them, and they just are, and it's really difficult to get your hands on some of them. You know what I'm saying? Right? And the rare stuff, the really good stuff, the good clean stuff, I mean, that stuff must be going for a fortune, but I'll talk to you in a minute a little bit about that. So my favorite subject is vinyl, and I love records, and I'm not going to talk about me, I'll talk more about you. But so tell me what got you into the whole collecting. You started collecting records, and what got you to open up a shop? How did that bring you to that?
Well, like a lot, I was born in the 60s, grew up in the 70s, and many people my age are very into music, and as people from many generations are. And so it was just always my thing. When I went to college, I chose a college where I liked the radio station because I wanted a college where I could be a college.
What college was that?
I went to Boston College.
Oh,
And
wow.
I know a lot of people choose it because it's a fine school, but I was actually most interested in the radio station.
There you go.
And then in my 20s, while I was kind of finding my career and finding what adult job I wanted to do,
Yep.
I spent some time working in your ear over in Austin. And, in retrospect, that was a lot. I enjoyed that more than any office job I had. So when I was out of work in my mid-40s, I decided to try to open a record store instead of trying to find a job again.
Well, I got to tell you, you get a lot of guts, buddy, because it takes a lot of guts to open up your own. It does. It's just really, to be a small business owner, it's really hard. And
Well, it was the right time. You could see, I used to shop at Stereo Jacks, and you could see them getting busier over when they used to be on Mass Ave. And I just kind of thought that the city could support another record store.
I've shopped at Stereo Jacks. That guy knew everything.
Oh, yeah.
My God, he knew every jazz artist and label. You name it, he knew them all. So
Still going great. They're still in Somerville.
is he still around?
He sold his shop, and most of his old staff are over in Ball Square now.
Oh, okay. All right. Stereo Jacks. Wow. Name from the past. So I have a little factoid. So I pulled it off the web from the website The Guardian. The website The Guardian reported that vinyl sales in U.S. are up 21.7% for the first half of 2023 over the same period last year, and according to the new music industry report. So the vinyl resurgence is itself not new. 2022 marked the 17th consecutive year that sales of vinyl records rose, according to Laminate's Music Mid-Year Report. So it's unbelievable. So people are holding on. Are they holding on to these records, you think?
Well, I think these days, it says that the trend's been going on for 17 years. And I think, say, 17 years ago when vinyl started to grow back up, there were still a lot of people who saw them as junk. They'd have a house full of old records.
Yeah.
I've got to get rid of this. I've got to jump through this. And over the years since then, people are aware. You see on TV, everybody knows that records are popular now. So they're definitely not getting tossed away like they used to.
So when I sold my records to you, I made a decision, and what we talked about before was like, I felt like I had so many of them, and that I wasn't a good parent, okay? And I just felt like my records were gonna either cook in my attic, or they were gonna rot down in my basement because I didn't have the room for them. So they were in good hands with you, and I'm sure they have a good home.
Oh, no doubt. For sure.
and they got adopted. So let me ask you a question. For me personally, I mean, a needle on a record, there's no better sound. That's just how I feel. I hear it. What do you obviously feel the same way, right?
Well, yeah, there's something to that because I think, somehow like when streaming became the thing, when everybody started to listen to music by streaming, I think that somehow it made people so much aware of so much more music, and that somehow drove them to like seek out the stuff they really want.
Right.
And then when people do hear, the non-computerized version.
Yeah.
Been digitized. There's something there. There's
a huge
there's
loss.
Some atmosphere, something that doesn't get captured in
Yep.
digital, and people do catch on. People.
And my hearing isn't.
even know what it is.
My hearing's not superb. So, but when I would listen to it, I just love listening to the Beatles. And I just have it's a technical question. I don't want to bore anybody, please. When you listen to a Beatles record, or records back in the '60s, you would hear like. You may hear the voice, but the vocals in one ear, and in the left you hear the music. What is that? What is that called?
Well, the stereo separation.
Is it mono? It's mono and stereo?
Well, when you hear something over here and something over there, then you know it's in stereo. And nowadays people actually prize the mono Beatles records because people don't want that in their headphones. People want a nice kind of steady sound. People don't want the guitar way over here and the voice.
So you have to be a real crazy record collector person. So we've got the Beatles here. This is the Beatles, introducing the Beatles' #1 vocal group right here, okay? This is mine. I put it in a frame because I'm a weirdo, okay? And it's really clean and nice. It's on a VJ label, they call it. I asked you about this, right? And you said it might be something pretty good.
Yeah, it's hard to say. And to be honest, this album was counterfeited by some company, and 90% of the copies you see out there are counterfeits and have this kind of stain here. So when you told me about it, I said, oh, it's probably counterfeit. And to be honest, I have not had cause to look up the value of a real copy for quite a long time. So
I don't need them. I don't really need it.
It's probably worth a couple $100. I honestly don't know.
I'm not going to sell it anyway. but I figured I'd just have it over there. So let's do this. Let's go through your list of what you believe is like something. Well, before you do it, real quick. Generation Z, Generation X, right?
Yeah.
Who is buying these records?
Oh, it's the people in their 20s and 30s. I mean,
Okay.
they're the ones who are in the stage of life of acquiring things.
They're reliving.
And, yeah.
Okay.
People my age in their 50s, they're less inclined to take on a new hobby and
Been there, done that.
Right, it's old new, and a lot of people my age still consider records old junk. You know, they just think streaming.
So let's roll through a couple,
Okay.
right? You roll right on. Tell
You
me
know,
what-
I just brought some random covers. You said bring some album covers, and I just moved the store, but there were a few. Good
Okay,
in the window.
all right.
Just kind of a representative sample. Like
Yeah.
I found a Talking Heads record of all the. I mean, they are as popular nowadays as any band from the sort of classic rock
Really?
era. If we get the Talking Heads record, we'll put it in the front of the bin, and somebody in their 20s will buy it within 2-3 days, always. And it's just there's.
So you may find yourself looking and looking and looking.
Looking for
and you'll get, yeah, exactly.
And looking for quite a while.
They're a great band, by the way.
Oh, definitely. Yep. No.
How about, what do you got for the next, what's the second one you got?
You know,
there?
I bought some of the popular categories. Hip hop is very big on.
Oh, yeah.
If this record was in our window because it came in too beat up to sell, and we stuck it in the window, and it got a little.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah.
But if we had a nice clean copy of this, somebody would grab this probably for any price we wanted to stick on it. Jungle Brothers, done by the Forces of Nature. But there's
So-
many like this too. We get De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising a couple times a year, and people will just go crazy for that.
Okay.
The hip hop.
The hip hop movement is amazing what's going on with it right now. And I had some songs, well, not songs, but some things. I think there was Eminem, Drake, Kanye West. This is not a music grotto. These are the top album, they said, though, is the Eminem Show.
Well, I
Eminem
believe it.
show?
You know, I've
Is it
never
true?
seen that on a record, so I imagine that the original vinyl pressing of that must be pretty rare. In fact,
Yeah, yeah. So Chris Brown, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Post Malone, whatever. Those are some of the things, too, that they have over there. You got the Ramones, who I love.
oh yeah. Well, just classic punk is another.
Absolutely.
Any classic vintage punk record we get England or
Yeah.
USA from the '70s that everybody wants.
Yeah, Joey and the...
People call up
Yeah.
and get me good punk records, and I'm like, well, not this week because they sell that fast. And,
Wow, my God. What do you got? What's the next
oh,
one?
what else? I bought. Oh, here's Purple Rain. Everybody still loves Prince.
Purple Rain.
Before he died and after he died.
Tremendous
Prince has
album.
been one of the biggest
Yeah,
artists.
tremendous album. I played. We played that a lot back in the '80s,
Oh, me too.
and it's just probably the greatest loss in the past
For the
50
age.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
know,
just
like Bowie was almost 70.
Yeah,
he was almost 70. Prince
yeah.
was only what?
just a
6 or
tremendous,
something, so.
tremendous artist.
Yeah.
Next,
Just what else do we? Oh, we brought Black Sabbath. Heavy metal is another
All right.
huge category.
So I-
Classic metal, everybody, it's big.
I
It's,
would-
it's not my thing. I'm not a metal guy, but it's.
Oh, it's
big
my
in the shop.
thing. It's my
but,
thing.
But when I talk metal too, I'm talking about the like more even more like this is
Oh,
this is almost like this is almost old
Soft.
school, but
That's soft.
but to a real metalhead, this is almost like Elvis or something. But
thought it was the strangest thing you pulled that here. I'll tell you why. I'm at the gym and I have I have YouTube music or Spotify, whatever, right? And I'm like, I gotta listen to something, maybe motivate me or whatever, because I like to go to the gym. So I put my headphones on. I go, oh, look what just popped up, Black Sabbath, Paranoid.
Yeah, that was.
And I had a buddy of mine who right over here in Union Square. He had this huge Chrysler. It looked like the Batmobile, and he had an 8-track tape. That's all they had back then, right? Had the 8-track tape. He put it on, and we were completely blown away by it. It just happened. So great choice, Black Sabbath, Paranoid, love it. What else we got?
We got covered most of them. What else do we have here? Oh, jazz, Miles Davis jazz.
All right.
The jazz
Now
records are also
now we're
really hard to
talking-
keep in stock.
Yeah.
And especially somehow since the pandemic, especially people in their 20s, 30s have really gotten into the classic jazz, and that's who buys.
It's jazz is a complex type of music, especially that era. And I remember someone say it's for people who like to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true, but yeah,
It's really
to distract you.
really tremendous. So I went while we're on Miles Davis, right? It says, what is the most important jazz album in history?
Yep.
Right? I pulled this off the internet. Kind of Blue.
Yep.
Miles Davis, all right? And I'm going to tell you, the best jazz selling album of all time. Same thing.
It's true.
Right?
We sell You know, that's still a popular record. We try to always have it in stock. You know, you can't. It's hard to always have a used
Kind of
copy in
blue,
stock.
yeah.
But when we do orders of new pressed records, we try to always have Kind of Blue because it will always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once a week, somebody will.
But think about this, right? Look at who he had, right? He had saxophonist John Coltrane,
Yeah.
my God, Julian, Cannonball Adderley,
Yeah.
pianist Bill Evans, bassist Paul Chambers, drummer Jimmy Cobb, with new band pianist Wynton Kelly appearing on a track, Freddie Freeloader. He filled in for Evans.
Yeah, no, they're all big names themselves.
Yeah, so if you don't mind, just a quick honorable mention on the jazz end, right? Since seeing that you're on that right now. So I've got the second one is A Love Supreme, John Coltrane, Timeout, Dave Brubeck, Ellington at Newport, and we talked about that. I've never been to Newport. You have. I'm going to go someday. All right,
great.
Duke Ellington. Jazz at Mastery Hall, the quintet.
Yeah.
All right. And then you've got Louis Armstrong, the best of the Hot 5 and 7 recordings. John Coltrane, Blue Train, and you've got Getz Gilberto.
Those are all. Yep. People come in asking for all of those.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep,
these
young people.
these are music aficionados. How about a little R&B? What do you got?
Oh, and the last record that we pulled of what was left over, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. This one has just, I mean, it's always been a popular classic soul record, but somehow it's gotten extra cachet in the last 5 years, and just everybody wants it. It was never a rare record, you know. It sold millions back.
Make
in
me
the day,
want to holler.
but
Let me tell you.
wants it.
Can you do
keep it
go
in
go to the back of that record? I want to
Oh,
show.
the rain, the-
I want a leather look, and I want a leather coat like that, right? Brian, you want a coat like that? I think I'm telling you, man. Look at that. How bad is that?
That is nice. Yeah.
Bad as in great. That's a great album. I love that. Of course, you see my stuff here, so that's just
Beatles.
Yeah.
Too. Young people buy the Beatles too.
yeah. Meet the Beatles.
They're in the same stature as these.
Yeah. So some of the other albums that we have to mention are The Velvet Underground.
All right.
Do you get any call from Michael Jackson? Thriller?
People still want that. You know, Thriller's easy enough to get, and a lot of people don't
Right.
like Michael Jackson these days.
The Clash?
Oh yes, Clash is still a classic.
All right. How about Dylan?
Oh, I'm a Dylan fan. He's not the biggest. He probably doesn't move like the Beatles, but he'll be important forever.
Pink Floyd?
He'll come back. Oh, Pink Floyd is huge with the young people. Yeah, can't keep Pink Floyd in stock.
What about Hendrix at all?
He's still popular. There are still young people who listen to Hendrix. He won't fly out the door like who did we just talk about?
And he's
Like
up.
Pink
How about
Floyd,
Zeppelin maybe?
Oh, Zeppelin is huge. If we get a good clean Zeppelin record, they're
AC/DC?
Yep, they're huge with the young people. And all this stuff I'm talking about, I'm talking about people under 30. That's who's building record collections.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? The music, how it just evolves back and forth like that. I love all of that.
I think streaming gave the world access to all the old music, and a lot of people have just really gone for old stuff.
Yeah, and then you got to play, and you got to keep the album clean. You got to clean it. You got to take care of it. You got to caress it, man. All right, so blues. I love blues.
Yeah.
Brian, what do you think about blues? You there? Yeah. All right. So for me, I have to have blues. It just makes me feel feel good. The slide guitar, the blues.
Yeah.
Bonnie Raitt, people like that. But then I looked into it and I found out about someone like Leadbelly. So the 10 best albums for beginners who own vinyl, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you have any thoughts in your head?
Well, I can tell you, blues records is not a big category because they did not sell. Blues records did not sell on the level of the classic rock artists, or even on the level of Miles Davis.
Okay.
Those are almost real specialist acts back then.
Right.
So it's a good prize to get good old blues records. They're not as common as like the good jazz collection.
Okay, so like it's like when the Stones, resurrected. Whose career did they resurrect? What was his name?
They did a lot of those.
Yeah,
I think Howlin' Wolf
Elmore
got big
James,
after that.
Howlin' Wolf. So here's the top 10. We got Leadbelly, Robert Johnson, Elmore James, Howlin' Wolf, who I love. Crazy, Moaning in the Moonlight, which is great. Muddy Waters, that's whose career they resurrected.
Right. Oh yeah.
Muddy
that's
Waters.
right, yeah.
At Newport, 1960. So I have to go back and look at this because if I can find YouTube videos on that stuff, I'll look it up if I can. B.B. King, Live at the Regal, John Mayall, Blues Breakers, tremendous album. with Clapton.
That one we see. That one sold. That one sold to the rock audience. So that one's always
Okay, all right. So now
the real bluesmen did not sell the way that
no, I know.
one sold.
Albert King, Born Under a Bad Sign, who I seen in a concert in Indiana, outside Indiana, tremendous. Coco Taylor, she's unbelievable, can really wail. And then Stevie Ray Vaughan, Double Trouble, Texas Flood, which I love as well. So those are all great albums. And the article that they wrote, had they not written that article, I never would have known that you were departing and leaving. So tell me, do you remember some of your first albums that you bought when you were a young guy?
Boy, I loved music when I was a kid, and my parents would let me get 45s of my favorite songs. And the first album I remember them getting me was Badfinger. I loved that song Day After Day. And for whatever reason, instead of the 45, I ended up with...
It just had that whole beginning,
leather jackets on the front.
I believe that in music, whenever I listen to a song, like Foreigner, like Can't Get Enough of Your Love, right? It's a classic song. The opening is the most important part of any song, Sweet Jane.
Yeah.
Right? That thing there, it goes on for about 2-3 minutes, right? The open. That's just the intro, right?
Oh, the long life.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best, man. So it gives me goosebumps just thinking about these records. I love music. So we're getting towards the end here. We're running we're not going to run late. So you're going to be going over to where, over near the high school in Melrose, where we can find you.
Yep,
if we want to.
We're closer to the Whole Foods. For those who know Melrose, Melrose has a main street that runs from Malden to Wakefield. We're more at the Wakefield end, just off Main Street on Green Street.
Okay, all right. So if we want to find you, we can find you there.
Right, 200 Green Street.
Well, I know I'll be visiting because I'll be.
We'll have website, social media, and all that soon enough. There's a lot going on this week, but we're gonna have all the social set up.
All right. So I have another question. Why is it that I never heard of Hawkwind's 1973 Space Ritual?
I don't know.
Where am I?
Record nerds love it. One thing about it is that Hawkwind was the band that Lemmy was in before Motorhead. So certain music aficionados.
There you go. All right.
Because of that.
So it's your desert island disc.
Well, that day I said that. You asked me today, maybe I would say Talking Heads, Fear of Music.
Okay.
Maybe I'd say Public Enemy, It Takes a Nation of Millions.
If I had to take one record with me on a desert island, I don't know if I could do that. That's impossible.
It is impossible. That's why I said that day's answer was Space Ritual.
I know.
Another day, another answer.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I would actually like to ask that question to people on the street if we can find some people who really care. So let's see. That was today's answer that you said on that one there. So there's obviously other record shops in the city, right?
Yeah.
All right. So who do we got, and where can we go in the city of Somerville? I know did you mention them, or did somebody else mention them?
Well, we talked about how Stereo Jacks is over in Ball Square now. That's a great store. And here in Union Square, there's a shop in the Bow Market, Vinyl Index.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
There's a vintage shop a little up the street across from Market Basket.
I've seen them.
Stuff, but they've got a few racks of records
on School Street, on Connell Street. They sell like clothes on the outside.
Got some records too.
Okay.
So those are the places in this neighborhood, and of course Cambridge close by. Cambridge has a ton.
Yeah. So you have the Vinyl Index, 1 Bow Street. I'm not trying to get you guys to go somewhere else, but if you want to go local, if
you're in Somerville, those are your places.
Exactly.
We're going to find our people in Melrose.
That's right. Stereo Jack, 736 Broadway, Ball Square. Planet Records, 144 Mount Auburn Street. Cheapo Records. Alan, this guy Alan. Do you know Alan?
I don't.
Is he still around? So
Somebody told me that they did change ownership in the last 5 years.
They probably did that. Okay, so back in like the early 70s, when I started doing my thing, right? I would buy my records there. And these people knew everything about everything. They were playing Prez Prado, right? This, Latin beat, man. It was like crazy. It was so good. It was cha-cha and all this other stuff. But this guy would play just about anything. If you were looking for a 45, because they were selling tons of 45s back then, you could find it at Cheapo Records, and they were great over there. Big Dig Records, North Cambridge, Armageddon Record Shop, 12 Elliott Street in Cambridge as well.
Harvard Square.
Well, you know what? This has been my pleasure. I enjoyed this immensely. Somerville Labor Show. I want to thank you guys. I also want to mention one more quick thing, if I haven't mentioned before. It's 50 years that the city of Somerville became, as you can see that sign right there just below me, that sign was the original sign. I wonder how it got here, but anyway, it's the original sign from 1972, 1973. Somerville was the All-America City, and you know what? No matter what, right? We love you, Somerville. You know, we have our ups and downs. We go with you. But you know what? It's always going to be my home. It'll be everybody else's home too. Great city. It's got a great vibe.
I was
and
17 years. The shop here.
yeah. So you know, it's good. It's a good place. Good for everybody. So we all have to kind of work together and just try and make it what it is, and we can make it. You know, the All-America City again. The criteria, the methodology, wherever it takes. You know what I'm saying? It just takes a lot to rise it up. But remember one thing: we're all about labor on this show, and I'm glad we could talk to Dave Plunkett today. And I'm glad that we have Brian Zipp here with us, and everybody else. I want to thank you all. And the next time I see you, it may be somewhere else, but we're going to keep it going, man. This is what we do. We volunteer and we love it. I want to thank you all very much, Dave.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay? And unity, there's strength, and thank you so much.